Midcoast, Maine, where you start to leave the hustle and bustle of Portland and the overcrowded beach towns of southern Maine behind, and into the rustic Maine coast, filled with cozy fishing villages, striking cliffs, and where some of the best oysters in the nation come from. Pemaquid, Maine offers all that and more. Join us as we explore the Pemaquid coast in the town of Bristol, including old colonial forts, a rustic lighthouse, cliffs with powerful tides, and, of course, a lobster pound, with an order of oysters fresh from the sea. This is Brew England, a channel dedicated to all things New England adventures, culture, and beer. Pemaquid is an hour and a half from Portland, and the town of Bristol has a population of 2,800. To get there, you need to go on a side quest from Route 1 right after you reach Damariscotta. While not the focus of this video, Damariscotta is a cozy small village right on the coast featuring restaurants, local shops, bars, and some great waterfront spots for seafood. Oh, did I mention they have 2 Rennies? Pretty sure if they add one more, they'll have to make Damariscotta the new capital of Maine. About 20 minutes south of Muscongus is Colonial Pemaquid State Historic Site in Fort William Henry. Parking is free, and admission to the small museum and fort is $4, $3 if you're a Maine resident. Inside is a museum showcasing historical artifacts from the original Abenaki inhabitants to British traders and early colonialists. The museum goes into the history of the land, which was technically part of Acadia in New France, but became the most northern British trading post among the American colonies in 1625. And the 1630s saw a rudimentary fort and village built, which began a 100-year period of raids by pirates, natives, and the French. Subsequent newer, better, stronger fortifications with the construction of Fort William Henry, and more raids by natives and the French, ultimately resulting in the destruction of Fort William Henry and the reconstruction as Fort Frederick in 1730, before being deconstructed to prevent it from being occupied by British forces during the Revolutionary War. After watching a video on the history and touring the small museum, we were ready to explore the grounds surrounding the museum and fort. The grounds contain the ruins of colonial buildings, a cemetery, and a recreated historic fishing house. There's a few employees dressed in colonial attire, there to answer any questions or give additional insight into the history. Pemaquid ultimately grew around the cod industry, producing large quantities of salted cod to ship back to England. Next was to explore the restored Fort William Henry, which was partly rebuilt in 1908. Inside, you'll find more exhibits showcasing the various conflicts throughout the site's history and what it was like to be a soldier stationed there. Everyone is familiar with the famous Plymouth Rock, but Pemaquid has its own larger founding rock fully encased in the fort. Apparently, claiming rocks in colonial America came with major bragging rights. Weird. Up on the top of the tower, you have 360-degree views of Pemaquid Harbor and Pemaquid River. It was a beautiful day, so we spent a lot of time up there. There's also a small beach nearby, but we didn't have time to explore it and was off to our next destination. We drove 10 minutes south to Pemaquid Point Lighthouse. It cost $4 to gain entry to the seaside park, including the lighthouse, fisherman museum, cliffs, and art gallery. While the lighthouse was pretty and your quintessential Maine lighthouse experience, complete with rocky cliffs, it was the thunderous waves crashing against the rocks that stole the show. The tide was going in, and some monstrous waves were crashing against the coast. We climbed down onto the rocks for a closer look and had to retreat to higher ground after several close calls. There's several signs posted prohibiting swimming, and it's pretty clear it would be a struggle for survival if you accidentally fell in. We just sat there for a while, being hypnotized by the sheer power of the ocean. Afterwards, we enter the Fisherman's Museum, which was once where the lighthouse keeper lived. The museum featured the history of the lighthouse, the fishing industry in the area, and the life of a fisherman. The lighthouse was built in 1835 after replacing the original, which was built in 1827. There's an option to climb up to the lighthouse tower, but it costs $1 cash extra, and we didn't have any cash on us. Maybe next time. By this time, we worked up our appetite and had 20 minutes to Muscongus Bay Lobster Pound. We passed through New Harbor and roads hugging the coast, offering a stunning drive to our destination. Once we arrived, we headed over to the window to place our order and headed to the bar to grab much-deserved drinks. We grabbed a seat overlooking the harbor and wasn't long until our food was ready. I ordered the Pemaquid Oysters, which couldn't be more fresher or more refreshing. We also got some haddock stew and grilled haddock sandwich with a side of potato salad. Absolutely delicious. Our way back, we stopped by Aekir Brewing's new tap room in Wiscasset, Maine. Wiscasset is another rustic Maine village right on Route 1 that could easily be an entirely separate video. The brewery has 2 floors, and you can tell they put a lot of work into creating a cozy, welcoming space with a lot of wood trim and other details. Downstairs features some larger picnic tables, while upstairs is more of a lounge area plus the bar area. We ordered the Summer Stout, Amber Lager, and a taste of the Zinger beer. Stout season isn't just for winter anymore. The Summer Stout was a refreshing take on the malty classic, and the Amber was fantastic too. The Zinger beer is a sour with a nice ginger twist. Highly recommend stopping here, especially if you're planning on spending half the day in Wiscasset in line at Red's down the street, which has been named Maine's best and maybe most expensive lobster roll. Maybe I should do a lobster roll review video, but I don't exactly have Jeff Bezos type money here. If you'd like to see a video like that, comment below. Donations welcomed. Is Wiscasset actually Maine's prettiest town? Well, the verdict is out on that, but it does make for a great pit stop or overnight if you're doing the Route 1 road trip up to Acadia. The only disappointing part was that there was no cans to buy to go at the time at Aekir, but I'll give them a rain check on that one. I definitely want to return in the winter and just hang out in the cozy atmosphere with a winter stout in hand, watching the snow fall outside. It's a vibe. This is where I'll end the video. If you enjoyed the adventure, please like and subscribe. I'm hoping to earn my 100th subscriber, and maybe that will be you. Maine, welcome home with a beer.